Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations and much respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This lesson is inspired by this video that was put up by the brother GMS Ida 1 Rataza 2. Brothers, go ahead and subscribe. And Chris Hedges, which I believe is the author of this particular book, and looks like an Edomite, but who knows? He might be a Jake because he's speaking a lot of truth. He says something that's actually very scriptural about the Edomites, something that describes the Edomites, but he's speaking of a particular people, and I'll let him speak, okay? Because I don't want Esau to flag me for discrimination or racism, or whatever they say. And Esau has some nerve talking about racism. Okay, he has the audacity to speak about racism after the things that this man has done to the planet Earth. But I'll save that for another time. Let's play this video and let's get into where the things that he said that were actually scriptural.
But there is a passage that I found particularly striking on page 43 of the book, in which you talk about this moment in history and what it means. If you will, I'd like you to read that paragraph for me.
This moment in history marks the end of a long, sad tale of greed and murder by the white races. It is inevitable that for the final show, we vomited up a figure like Trump. Europeans and Americans have spent
Hold on. He said greed and murder, right? Let's just start there. You know what? I'm gonna break it down as we go along. Let's break down this whole thing as we go along. Okay? That way we can get all the meat off of that bone. He said greed and murder. Let's start with John 8 and verse 44. It reads, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking to other Israelites, wicked Israelites that were acting as the Romans at that time, or the Edomites at that time. It says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning," going back all the way to Cain in the garden. Okay, going back to Cain, which was the seed of the serpent in the garden spiritually. Okay? He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh of a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Okay? So Esau was a murderer from the beginning. Okay? And he was a liar from the beginning, right? Because Cain, when he was asked where his brother was, he said he didn't know. So let's jump to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. This is Habakkuk 2 in verse 5. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and could not be satisfied," which means what? He's insatiable. Like the man said, he was a murderer, and the murder and the greed of these people. That's what he was speaking about. So this is speaking of the wicked. Okay? "But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, saying, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his." And that's what certain people in the world have been saying for a long time. And Esau has just been trying to sweep it under the rug as if they're over exaggerating. But your history is being exposed. That skirt is being lifted up. Okay? And there's nothing that Esau can do about it. "How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All right, which means you murdered, you robbed, you raped, you did all manner of evil to these nations for your own gain. All right, and then you expect nobody to say anything about it. Then you flag videos saying it's hate speech. Well, you Edomites have some nerve. You have some audacity to say that, man. Because through your actions, you've shown hate. Okay? Not through words, but through actions, that's what you've shown. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. But that's okay, because eventually we're going to be able to show that same thing. Okay? Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. And that's what you Edomites did, man. That's what you Edomites did. You destroyed a people so that for your own gain, so you can be on top. And then you can point down and tell them, why don't you pull yourself up from the bootstraps? Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. And the shame is being spewed out now. Okay, as the scriptures say in the Psalms, his own tongue shall fall upon himself. And that's what's happening now. All right. Let's carry on.
5 centuries, conquering, plundering, exploiting, and polluting the earth in the name of human progress.
He said polluting the earth. All right, in the name of human progress. Let's keep going. Let's get something else. Let's get something else. Let's get Revelations. Okay. It says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name. Okay, so this is talking about the end. All right, when the elect shall be delivered, and salvation shall come, and glory, and all these things, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. Who is the Lord going to destroy in the last days? Who is the people that's fitted for destruction in the last days? Also known as those that that destroyeth the earth, as it says here in Revelations, the 18th chapter. Well, let's get Isaiah, the 34th chapter. Okay? Let's get Isaiah 34. This is Isaiah 34. And let's go ahead and start at verse 3. It says, their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven, speaking of the nuclear missile. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, the Edomites. That's another way of saying Edomites. And upon the people of my curse to judgment. So this is who he's coming to judge. The Idumeans, the Edomites. Let's prove that that's speaking about the Edomites. Let's get into it. All right. Idumea, upon Idumea, Edom. You see the word there in Hebrew? It would be Adawam would be the correct pronunciation in the ancient Hebrew. Adawam. All right? Okay? That's who it's coming down to. That's who's going to be destroyed by that who the Lord is targeting with that sword. Okay? The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, that's the chief city of Edom, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, this did not happen yet. This is getting ready to happen. Okay, the sword that's going to be bathed in heaven and come down upon Idumea, the people of his curse to judgment, that has not happened yet. All right. Matter of fact, the Edomites have had plentiful. They had plenty rulership after that. You had the Greeks, right, with Alexander, which he was an Edomite, by the way. His father was known as Philip of Macedon. Okay, and the Macedonians were actually known for being Amalekites. Okay. Which is the chief house of Esau. They had kings and they called them Agag. All right. So when you see in history, you say Agag the king, this Agag, that was just a title, kind of like Caesar. All right. Now, that was the point on that. Now there's another scripture I want to get. Either make it the world a wilderness or make it the earth. Oh, there we go. Isaiah 14. There we go. Now we're talking. All right. This is let's start at verse 12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer," which is speaking about the elites of this society, right? The Edomites that run this society. Because Lucifer just means light bearer. It's not speaking of the spiritual demon Satan. "Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart," and weaken the nations how? Did we not read in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, that because of you spoil many nations, the people shall spoil thee? He spoiled the nations. He pillaged them. He took their natural resources. He bankrupted them. He put traps. He set traps for them. Set up puppet governments. He did a lot of things to these nations, man. "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High," space programs. "I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the side of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness?" Which means what? He destroyed the earth, as the man read in his book. Okay? Speaking about how he destroyed the earth, and he says he does it in the name of, peace and helping people, and, roughly paraphrasing, "and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners," going into the jail system in America. All right, so let's continue. There's a lot to unpack.
They use their technological superiority to create the most efficient killing machines on the planet, directed against anyone and anything, especially indigenous cultures, which stood in their way.
That was a lot. That was a lot. Even that right there, you see. So there's a lot to break down. Let's get Revelations 13 and verse 13. It says, I'll start at verse 11. It says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Is that not what we're seeing now? With Babylon, is that not what we're seeing now? He had the two lambs. He's speaking like a lamb, oh soft, but the words that's coming out is that of a dragon. The legislation that's coming out is that of a dragon. He's getting ready to pounce on you people. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, the Roman Empire, and he causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right? That's the Roman Empire. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Did not he say that he destroyed people through their technical superiority? He creates weapons to destroy people. This is part of that, right? The fire coming down from heaven, which is what those missiles. You had the atomic bomb that he dropped on Japan, and Japan is destroyed to this day based on that. They got all kind of deformities and radiation poisoning going on even to this day, decades later, because of what Esau has done. And Esau didn't have to do that. He did that to show his power, to put fear in these other nations. All right? That's why he did that. Okay. All right. So it says, yeah, that was the point on that one. Let's get Revelation 6 and verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, which represents the Edomites, who came out red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. All right. And when was that blessing of the sword given to Esau? All the way back in Genesis, man. All the way back in Genesis is when that sword was given to Esau. Genesis 27, actually. So okay, let me skip through. All right. This is Genesis 27. Get straight to the point. I'll start at verse 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. You see that? Let's read the first part again. All right. And by thy sword shalt thou live. Okay, so this is how Esau lives, by his sword. This is what he does everything by his sword. This is how he negotiates, by his sword. Okay. This is how he shows love, by his sword. All right. Okay. The love that he showed to you Israelites was by the sword. Even now, he's trying to tell you he loves you. Okay. He loves you. Right. And that's why he's forcing you to take this mini sword. All right. And to take that juice. Okay. Because he loves you so much. The tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. And shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay, that's going back to the time of King David. Now, So this guy, Chris Hedges, he's on point. He's on point with everything he's saying, and it's all scriptural.
Stole and hoarded the planet's wealth and resources. They believed that this orgy of blood and gold would never end, and they still believe it. They do not understand that the dark ethic of ceaseless capitalist and imperialist expansion is dooming the exploiters as well as the exploited. But even as we stand on the cusp of extinction, we lack the intelligence and imagination.
He said a lot, right? He's saying a whole lot. He's saying a whole lot very compactly. He didn't have to write a whole chapter for that. He just said a whole lot very compactly. He said what? He said something about, let me bring that back, man. He said something about them, give me 1 second. Let's go back. Let's go back a bit. Man, in a few seconds, this man said a lot. He said a whole lot.
And resources. They believed that this orgy of blood, wealth, and resources. They stole and hoarded the planet's wealth and resources. They hoarded and stole the planet's wealth and resources, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get James the 5th chapter. Let's get James 5. This is James 5 and verse 1. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you." And all this gold and silver that these devils hoarded up is going to be a witness against them, man, of their wickedness and their evil. And shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Heap treasures and hoarding treasures is the same thing. Same thing that man just said. Okay? Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, kept back by fraud. You stealing people's wages, taking out taxes before they even get their money. That's not even proper tribute, man. Tribute in the ancient world, the people would have to willingly give out of what they've earned after they receive their rightful payment. Now you take it out beforehand, and then you ask for more at the end of the year, man. All right. Crieth, right? Which is kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasures of the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Okay, so he didn't fight back against you. So, listen, man. You Edomites got a lot to pay for. Matter of fact, the scriptures say that you heap those treasures up, but you really heap that up for the elect. All right? For the Israelites. Because in that time come, there's going to be a transfer of wealth, a great wealth transfer. So you keep hoarding that gold and that silver, man. They believed that this orgy of blood and gold would never end, and they still believe it. They do not understand that the dark ethic of
they believe that it will never end. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. The scriptures also say, she sitteth and say, I shall be a lady forever. Man, there's so many scriptures, man, to go to. It's unbelievable.
Ceaseless capitalist and imperialist expansion is dooming the exploiters as well as the exploited. But even as we stand on the cusp of extinction, we lack the intelligence and imagination to break free from our evolutionary past. As the warning signs become more palpable, rising temperatures, global financial meltdowns, mass human migrations, endless war, poisoned ecosystems, rampant corruption among the ruling class, we turn to those who chant, either through idiocy or cynicism, the mantra that what worked in the past will work in the future. Factual evidence, since it is impediment to what we desire, is banished.
We're talking with Chris Hedges.
Man, that was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. And with that, I'll give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai B'Ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.